Excellent. Well, good. If you guys are all ready, then let's get going. I think we've got some listeners already, so yeah, let's rock and roll. Thanks everybody for joining us. Welcome to another DeFi Raiders AMA. We're thrilled to be here with the Kromatika team. They've built a DEX meta aggregator that includes a bunch of the useful features that we typically associate with centralized exchanges, but all in DeFi and with no centralized database. So we're super excited to learn more. Got one more speaker to get on the stage. Should Crypto Insider be up too?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone.
Cool. Welcome. All right. Well, good. So with that, if you guys would start us off by just going around the room and introducing yourselves, that would be wonderful.
All right. So let me start. Crypto Insider. Working with Kromatika since the second or third day of Kromatika is live, so almost 1.5 years. And I'm the CSO, Chief of Strategy Officer for Kromatika.
All right, I'll go next. So my name is Anne. I've been working on the growth team for Kromatika for 1.5 years now. I'm just happy to be here.
Hey guys, I'm Rich, working with Kromatika since last year, been 1 year. I work with the Growth Guild, and yeah, excited to be with all of you for the second time on Twitter. And good evening to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. It's evening for me, so good evening.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Daniel. Yeah, I'm with Kromatika since January last year. And yeah, mostly I'm up to community engagement and for every question coming up in our channels like Telegram, like Discord, or on the Twitter page. So yeah, it's been a ride already. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Yeah, and let's start it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks y'all for joining. Nice to have some new voices with us this time, so we won't be totally repeating ourselves from last time. So if y'all would start us off with just tell us the founding story of Kromatika and how you all and how you arrived at trying to duplicate CeFi features in DeFi.
Yeah, sure. So I will start this off by saying Kromatika was founded on the basis of solving a problem faced by every DEX user. DEX space being super expensive, super complicated, and when it comes to expenses, in terms of like bot attacks, swap, price slippage, it just was not profitable to kind of do trading on DEX. But DEX is a safer bet because you own your keys, you own your crypto assets. Especially when we see stuff like what happened with FTX and a bunch of different centralized exchanges. DEX is the answer, I would say, for most of these problems. But the DEX space was really not suitable for, let's say, retail traders or small traders who want to do like small trades, or even if you're a big trader, unless you don't mind spending a bunch of maybe 10%, 20% of your fees on slippage, on swap fees, on bot attacks, then DEX trading was a problem. So Kromatika was founded on the basis of solving this problem exactly, and specifically in terms of limit orders. So DEX users had swap, which is quite uniform along different platforms. But when it came to limit orders, DEX users really lacked. And like if you use limit orders on Binance or any of the centralized exchange, it's really smooth, it's really automated. You don't have to worry. If you want to sell when Ethereum reaches 3,000 USDC, you just put in your order and it gets sorted whenever market price reaches 3,000 USD. So, and the DEX space, this was not the case. And so with Uniswap V3 technology, there were two founders who were software developers and I should say DeFi maxis. They thought, hey, why don't we kind of do an experiment on Uniswap V3 concentrated liquidity technology and kind of bring limit orders without price slippage, without the risk of bot attacks, and without having to pay big swap fees, and the main issue being filling of orders. And so, long story short, I'm sure we'll get into it as we go on through the space, but long story short, the experiment was successful. They submitted the experiment at Chainlink Hackathon in 2021, Chainlink Hackathon, the fall version, like so towards the end of the year. And well, what do you know? We won a prize. Kromatika won an award for its idea, and that was the beginning of Kromatika. And even the word Kromatika is a word play on the name on the term automatic. So instead of automatic, they just replaced it with a K, and it was initially chromatic, and then they added an A. So Kromatika was formed with the idea of bringing CEX convenience, centralized exchange convenience, the affordability, the simplicity, and the automation of centralized exchanges to the DEX space. That was the creation of Kromatika. Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you. So actually, why don't we follow on from that? Would you talk us through how Kromatika transitioned from owned by the founders to a DAO, and and how and what form that takes now? I know we did this a little later in the session last time, but I think it makes sense to do now if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Does anyone want to go for this? Danny or Anne or Insider? I can add points like the last time. I can just add on bonus points.
Okay, I'll take this one. So basically, Kromatika went into a DAO in September, October last year, because from the beginning, as Rich mentioned, the purpose was to hand over the project to the community and to make sure that it was fully decentralized in its core. So moving into a decentralized organization made a lot of sense to us. And that's why we said, okay, let's found the DAO, let's change things, let's create the D work where people can follow on the guilds, and let's create proposals so people can start voting using their Chromes. And since then, we have had some proposals coming in. We will talk about some later on the AMA. So we had some proposals coming in from the community. They were voted on for or against, of course. And we have been developing and delivering whatever the community has asked us to do. So I think you can, if you look back on the Discord and all the documentation that's in there from the DAO, you can see that we have adapted completely to this new way of working since the fall of last year.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks. And yeah, we'll dive into more details about how you guys organize and manage the DAO later on. But I think super fascinating to see real decentralized protocols, especially ones that that didn't start out that way. I think it's very cool to transition. So moving us on, why don't we start out with the relatively easy stuff about Kromatika and move up to the more complicated stuff. So why don't we start with just the meta aggregator piece, and tell us about what chains you guys are on and how that works and so forth, and then we'll move on to the limit orders and other more exciting things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Sorry.
Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I first wanted to put some sentences on. Yeah, meta aggregator is it's one part of our DEX. I mean, our goal is to be a one-stop DEX in the space. So we wanted to deliver as easy as possible, as usable as possible, features for the crypto space for people to use us on every aspect they wish. So based on that, we have our meta swap aggregator. We have Philo, it's our fee earning limit orders based on the Uniswap P2P pool. And we also integrated perpetual trading. We will talk about it later on. So all that together, I forgot a very important aspect. We also got gasless features like trading without native token to pay for the chain fees. So, and that all together is bringing us close to be the one-stop DEX on the space. And we want to further grow on that features. And yeah, that's also the point of the DAO to bring even more features people have in mind on into the project, into the DAO, into the platform to grow us to the one-stop DEX in the space coming ahead. And yeah, so that was a very important aspect for me to just mention it. So it's not just about MetaSwap aggregator or not just about Philo. We have a lot of aspects to talk about and to deliver for the whole market.
Yeah, and I will just add on to the MetaSwap aggregator point. I don't use any other DEX to swap simply because I get best rates on Kromatika. And you'd say that because I work alongside Kromatika, I'm saying this, I'm biased, but no. If I open Uniswap and other like SushiSwap and Kromatika, and just compare any two tokens on your regular swap, you would most often, let's say 8 or 9 out of 10 times, you will see better rates on Kromatika because Kromatika is an aggregator of aggregators. So it sends out quotes to multiple aggregators like 1inch and 0x Project, which are aggregators themselves. And in my opinion, 1inch does a really, really good job in fetching good prices. So Kromatika kind of tweaks that and goes an extra step by aggregating 1inch and 0x Project. And as a result, when you want to swap, you're able to find token rates with lowest slippage and lowest slippage and highest savings. So basically, you get good returns on your crypto exchange. And that's why the MetaDex aggregator is super powerful. And maybe later on, we can talk about how this MetaDex aggregator can be available to other protocols who want to use it. In 30 seconds, they can integrate it. So, yep, that's the Meta aggregator.
Very cool. And I understand you've already integrated the aggregator into a protocol. Is that right?
That's correct. On Arbitrum, currently there is a project, a very, very, let's say, hot project called Array Finance. They have integrated Kromatika's swap box. So the swap box is the MetaDex aggregator, which any protocol can integrate in less than 1 minute. So if you did set up a stopwatch, it's less than 1 minute. It's plug and play. It displays on your front end, and you don't have to do anything else. It's just through APIs. And so all of Array Finance users, they don't ever have to leave the website of Array Finance to swap. From within Array Finance website, they get to swap at the best rates in the market. So Swapbox is a feature that any protocol can use, and it's free of charge. Kromatika does not impose any charge on it, so you get market price as is. So yep, that is our first project, and we are definitely open to many more protocols who want to use it, because let's face it, you have users, your users want the best rates, you as a business, you want to retain your users as much as possible within your website. So why don't you give them the best? And the best is the MetaDex aggregator. So yeah, less than 1 minute, stopwatch, check it out.
Awesome. I love it. And I have kind of a selfish question on following up on that. Any plans to integrate more aggregators? And I ask because I'm in most of the solidly forks, which tend to be only supported by the smaller aggregators.
That's okay. You can pose selfish questions. We're here for that. Kromatika currently aggregates only on 1inch and OX project, but the dev team is constantly looking at other ways to have more beneficial aggregators added to the swap aggregator, so we can offer more advantages to all the users. So it's definitely something we're exploring, but for now, yeah, it's only on 1inch and OX project that we're aggregating for.
Yeah, and so if you have any suggestions on your favorite dexes that you would like, or favorite aggregators that you want added, please put it across, and the engineering guild can actually take a look at it, because we've definitely had this discussion, like Anne said, and yeah, we will definitely integrate more.
Yeah, wonderful. I would love to see Firebird, because that supports a bunch of the shit coins that I trade.
Well, we're a DAO, so you can write a proposal and just submit it, and we'll be there to support you.
Awesome, love it. So good. So now let's talk about the limit orders again. I think it's worth spending a few more minutes on these, just because we've heard from so many different people that Uni v3 is too complicated, right? So I'd love to just talk a little bit about how you're simplifying the user experience of Uni v3 there.
Does anyone want to go for it? Insider and Danny?
I'll take it if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. Yeah, so as you said, if you want to use Uniswap v3, it's just a whole bunch of complicated stuff. And at the core of Kromatika, it's always been to simplify trading, and that's why Philo has been from the start our focus. There's no other DEX that can offer this particular feature, and basically, as a user, you will get the most benefit out of your order compared to any other platform you might be using, because you are getting fees on top of your order. So that's why we also called it Philo. It's fees earning limit orders. So you place an order on Uniswap v3. It's concentrated liquidity, and we have collaboration with Chainlink keepers in the backend that is making sure that your order is being filled and the liquidity is pulled out automatically as soon as your price margin is reached. So automating this process is simplifying your life by a whole lot. Any trade that you want to do, you don't need to check anything yourself. You just put up your order, you set the price range that you want, you click on the button trade, and everything afterwards is automated for you. The liquidity will be pulled as soon as it's filled. You get your orders on top of it, and everything will end up in your wallet. It's just the whole process is automated through a single click on a button because of our dApp. And I think that is really the most essential feature that Kromatika offers today.
Yep, and I will add on that if you've done limit orders on 1inch or any other DEXs, you would have noticed that 50 or 60% of the time, even if market price crosses your target, your order is unfilled. And that is usually because it is they have a centralized database and there are market makers involved in fulfilling your order. So it kind of works like a swap, but a delayed swap. I mean, there are makers and takers who decide they want to fulfill your order or not. But with Kromatika, we've taken out the human element of deciding whether to fulfill your order or not. We've deployed, like Annie said, Chainlink keepers. So they have zero emotions. They just look at the conditions that are met and your market price is reached, your target price is reached, and there's sufficient volume. They'll fill your order, pull out the liquidity, and send it to your dashboard. So it's 100% filled. And I think we are probably one of the only DEXs with limit orders that offer 100% decentralized limit orders, because there's no human being behind the scenes trying to fulfill these orders. These are all contracts and nodes that are working automatically. And the biggest advantage is you don't pay swap fees because it's not a swap. You're not attacked by bots. So whether it's a small order or a whatever, however big order, you have no bot attack issues. You're not affected by price slippage either. And so the whole thing is super easy, super straightforward. I know we talked a bunch of technical stuff, but it's just as easy as putting a limit order on Binance. I mean, you don't need to understand how the technical side works. Just put in your order, it gets fulfilled. And instead of paying crazy fees, you will earn fees on top of your trade, the LP fees. And that's why these fees earning limit orders are the flagship product of Kromatika. And one of our most notable users is Umami DAO, or previously Umami Finance, on the Arbitrum network. They use Kromatika. They switched over from SushiSwap early last year, and they're using Kromatika's limit orders for their treasury operation, and they are very, very happy. Also, my favorite statistic is 50 to 60% of first-time limit order users of Kromatika are all returning users. So that is a super high benchmark in an industry where, when you get a market fit and the returning users are just below 10%. For Kromatika, it's 50 to 60%. So super easy, super efficient, automatic, and it is one of a kind. And there is no other DEX that offers this.
Yeah, super powerful, super exciting. I love it. And I remember from last time that you can also avoid paying taxes on UniV3 tax tokens by using your FILO orders.
Yep, exactly. So that is something that we discovered recently, that even if you have these tax tokens, as long as they're on UniV3, you can avoid paying taxes, and you will actually be paid tax in quotes. What I mean is the liquidity providing fees. You will be paid that. You can avoid taxes using limit orders. So if you have these in quotes shit coins on UniV3 and there are taxes on them, you know how to escape them. And the answer is Kromatika's limit orders, FILOs.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm excited for more of the Ponzi coins and the meme coins on mainnet to start using V3.
Yeah, that would be great, especially when we move into GameFi, all of these gaming networks. I think they are the ones who usually impose tax. It would be great for more of them to be released on V3, and you have the secret key that unlocks or bypasses tax on these tokens.
Yeah, definitely. And really, what this sounds like is moving from a B book exchange to an A book exchange, right? Where you guys aren't trading against your limit order users, whereas all the centralized exchanges pretty much are.
Yeah, you could say that we are on your side now. We are on the retail trader side now. With Kromatika, you're trading. You're not trading against anyone. We're not trying to rip you off. You're not going to be unhappy. You're going to be fully satisfied. Kromatika is built with a simple mission to make DEX trading simple, accessible, affordable by removing as much barriers and friction that exists in the DEX trading space. So yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Now let's move on to gasless. This is the other super exciting feature. I mean, this should be what what really starts to open up DeFi to to the normies. So yeah, tell us about how this one works, and particularly in the context of onboarding users to a new chain, right?
Sure. Annie, do you want to? What happened to
Yeah.
Danny? Danny went into a listener mode.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Okay, but Annie, you go for it.
Yeah, I'll start on the gasless already. So I don't know if anybody ever traded on a centralized platform. I'm sure you all did. But when you're trading there, you don't have the fuss about the gas and you don't have to approve all the transactions. It just you click on a button and the trade is executed for you. When you're doing trading on decentralized platform, you have to go through several steps to put down a trade and to get actually your tokens exchanged. And we wanted to simplify that even further. And that's why we started looking into gasless, because if you're trading on the mainnet or if you're trading on Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, whatever you want, you will always need Ethereum or in the case of Polygon Matic to approve and execute all your transactions. And that may cause a little bit of a friction because if you don't have ETH, you might need to go through a faucet or you might need to get some ETH from another wallet and you're transferring and it's a hassle to get the trade executed. So we thought, well, it might be easier if you can just settle the trade with the token that you are trading. So that's why it's called gasless, because you don't pay gas in the native coin of the network you're using. So if you're trading on Ethereum, and you enable gasless trading, you will not need ETH to settle the trade. You can just settle it in either Chrome or the token that you're trading. And that's the big advantage because you no longer have to worry, do I have enough ETH to settle my trade? You can just choose whatever token that you're trading and the token you want to receive, of course, and enable gasless and select that you want to have your tokens or your fees, settled in the token that you're trading. And that is actually a very big advantage because it makes trading even more swifter. And well, sometimes we've all seen the pumps lately, especially with all the shit coins. It just comes down to a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. And if you have to make sure that you have ETH and you have to transfer wallets and you need to make sure that everything is on the right wallet, on the right network, it can take some time. So if you just at that moment can enable gasless and click on settle the difference in the tokens I'm trading, well, that's your biggest advantage you can have if it comes down to a couple of minutes in trading. So basically, gasless trading for us is just simplifying trading another step.
Very cool. And it seems like it would be faster even if I was prepared with gas in my wallet and tokens, just because there's not a JavaScript pop-up to approve.
Yeah, I mean, when you
I'm not sure if it only broke off a little bit.
Yeah, can you repeat what you said?
It seems like it would be faster even in the scenario where I do have gas in my wallet and I'm otherwise ready to go for a DeFi trade, just because of not having to approve the JavaScript MetaMask pop-up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, when you first enable the gasless mode, there will be a tiny pop-up that says approve transaction, and that is free of cost. That's for the relayers. Kromatika uses Biconomy relayers for its gasless, so it's for the relayers to take over the job and to let you know that this will be gasless, and for them to pay on your behalf and then take out their fees from your output token. But when you talk about speed, there's an article that is on Medium for Kromatika that we compared the gasless of Kromatika with others like 1inch and CowSwap. I think CowSwap was probably one of the first dexes that actually implemented gasless swap. And if you've used it, it's a little slow. It goes through several layers, and so with Kromatika's gases, you don't go through those many layers that slow it down. It's as quick as a regular swap, and it's super easy to function. So like Annie said, you can swap any two tokens, even if you had 0 ETH in your wallet. And so it comes down to convenience, ease. And for now, we have it on Polygon Network, and we just released it this week on Arbitrum. So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. I'm excited to go try it out. So, and how about the perpetual exchange integration? Let's cover that one next.
Okay, so the perpetual is something that Kromatika has not built. It's a white label solution that we use, and it is in partnership with Apollo X Finance. And Apollo X, actually, one of its early investors is Binance Labs. So if you look at Kromatika's perpetual trading, the UI looks very, very familiar. It's very nice. It's clean. It probably has one of the lowest fees in the market. We have about 72 pairs, crypto pairs, and up to 100x leverage. So it's a white label solution that we use, and it's super easy to use. It's available on mainnet, Arbitrum, and BNB chain. And the reason we implemented Kromatika perpetuals is because, like Annie mentioned earlier, we are a DAO, and the community wanted perpetuals added. So we went ahead and added Apollo X, which seemed the most easy fit for us. And that's how we brought in perpetual. So the whole idea is to be a one-stop solution for any and every one of your DEX needs. So whether it's swap, we have the MetaDex aggregator with super, super good rates. When it's limit orders, you don't ever have to be, for lack of better word, duped by these bots stealing from your order or fall prey to price slippage. We have the Philos. You can earn fees instead of paying ridiculous fees on your limit orders, fully automated. We have now the gasless swap, and we also have perpetual. So every one of your trading needs, we're trying to address within the dApp, and that's how perpetuals was brought in.
Very cool. I mean, yeah, it does seem like you've got a very, very sticky and far, wide-ranging product. So, I'm curious, are there any plans right now to cover the just few areas of DeFi that you don't currently cover? I can think of lending, of farming, position management, and bridging as really the only three things that you guys haven't covered.
That's absolutely right. Well, we do have a proposal going on, which is one from DeFi, and we are looking into a bridging solution with them. So, and it is scheduled. For the other ones, I'm not sure. So maybe one day we'll get an offer and the community will vote for it, and then we can investigate how we can deploy it on the dApp. But for now, I'm only sure that we have bridging going on with LiFi.
Oh, very cool. And will that eventually wind up with multi-chain swaps enabled? Or do you plan to keep bridging separate from swapping?
I am really not sure about this part of it. I think the engineering guild would be the better people to answer, but I assume once bridging is included, we will definitely explore. We might explore cross-chain swap based on our talks with LeFi, but we honestly have not really explored the cross-chain swap yet. I think step one would be to definitely integrate bridging within the Kromatika dApp, and then we can move on to cross-chain, because ultimately, again, it's a DAO. So whatever the community needs, they can just bring it up as a proposal, and the engineering guild will get to work on it. So I'm sure this will be addressed for sure. Cross-chain swap. Someone's going to bring it up. If not anyone, maybe I will bring it up. And so we will get it done.
Yeah, very cool. Well, good, and good segue. Why don't we move on then to security and governance, which I kind of approach together, since governance attacks are a big security hole for a lot of protocols.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
so I know you've burned your liquidity, you've locked a bunch of tokens, you've had Certic and MythX audits last year, and just what has been the DAO's approach to security since then?
Yeah, well, since as you mentioned, we already had our security audits done. Of course, now that we have updated the contract, we are looking for a second audit. We're still looking because it was internally audited already, the gasless feature, by our own team, of course, and now we're just looking for an external auditor to go through the contract and see if we can get it certified again. So, because updating the contract for gasless trading doesn't necessarily change anything to the past, but it just changed the fact that the security audit that we have done, is not longer fully covering every feature that Kromatika is offering. So that's why we're looking for a second audit on the contract. Apart from that, as Rich said, we do have moved into a DAO. So anything that comes along, any proposal that comes along, it is considered to be well. We do consider the security as well, although it can be whatever proposal that comes into the DAO. Security has been a priority from day one. So whatever we implement or we roll out, we always consider the security for our users to make sure that we don't get any hacks or rugs or whatever.
Yeah, very cool. So would you tell us a little more about how the DAO is organized and governed? I know there's a very cool manifesto that's up there in the docs, and you all use D-Work. But just curious. So I know there are different guilds. Walk us through that, as well as how are guild members incentivized. I think would be an interesting question as well.
Yeah, so right now we have Kromatika as it started as a founders with two founders. We migrated to a DAO last year, and so all of our communication, all of the tasks that we have running is on D-Work, like you mentioned. And so we have moved away from a centralized way of management to a more decentralized way of management. There is Kromatika's core contributors that are involved in the various guilds, like the engineering guild. There's who are like the developers. There's a growth guild who is like the marketing. Then there's like the operations and admin. There's a copywriting guild when it comes to articles and written content. So these are the various guilds within the DAO. And whatever proposal is brought forward by the community. By the way, Kromatika is an open source project. The code is visible for anybody, and it is because it's a DAO. Anybody can get involved. They can choose a task that they'd like to contribute in with their skills from D-Work, and they can submit their work, and if it's approved, they get incentivized for it as well. Other than that, when it comes to voting and things to do with driving the project forward, we've deployed snapshot voting. And since majority of the holders on Kromatika are on Ethereum network, and because snapshot voting uses mainnet mainly, if I'm not mistaken, it goes through a voting process with the voting on snapshot, and if it's passed, it gets implemented. When it comes to incentives, it's for regular frequent contributors, and it's based on experience and their contribution level. In our website, if you go over to documents, there is a section for incentives, and everything is pretty straightforward laid out there based on your experience, in the sense of how long you've been a frequent or regular contributor at Kromatika in terms of the project development, and in what areas you've been contributing. And based on your contribution level, there's an incentive that's paid out bi-weekly. So that's how it runs. And yeah, that it's pretty straightforward. I would say that Kromatika is still kind of on a learning curve with the DAO. I don't think Kromatika has totally figured out the DAO mechanism, but we've kind of got the basics right in terms of getting the proposals done, the voting done, listening to the community, and basically the community is driving the project forward. That's how the governance at Kromatika works. Every Chrome holder is eligible to vote. So Chrome token is your voting power when it comes to DAO decisions and basically governance decisions.
Yeah, very cool. And I appreciate that you acknowledge that, yeah, the DAO organization and management is still somewhat unsolved area.
I know. Yeah, it is. It's very tricky because when it comes to a decentralized way of governing, you have several opinions, as it should, because everyone has a mind of their own. So that becomes a little bit tricky, but I guess this is a way to make everybody heard as well. And yeah, it's tricky, but it's a good learning curve. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the innovations that we will all make in organization and governance are every bit or more important than the innovations we make here in technology.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think there's any other. I think this decentralized way of doing things or running projects has just come into evolution thanks to crypto industry. I'm not sure if it's happened outside of the crypto industry. I'm not sure, because outside of the crypto industry, usual businesses, they run with top-down management level, right? So this is something new. This is an evolution for sure.
Yeah, cooperatives have existed in outside of crypto for a long time, but they're so niche, that they're not really a meaningful segment to analyze for governance.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's true.
They used to be a lot more common, but fascinating in any event. So do you have any plans in the future to move towards more on-chain governance? And here I'm thinking of like Synthetics is working on a governance module to bring everything fully on-chain.
I don't think we've explored that side yet. I guess because Kromatika has been super busy with trying with the. I would say Kromatika has its hand full for the year in terms of the optimism grant, the deployment of Gasless on Arbitrum was the recent thing, which was just done on Monday this week. So it's had its hands full, and so it's just one task after the other, and it's a very small, because it's all contribution based. It's a very small team, I would say, or a group of contributors. And so we have our hands full. And I guess once we have covered a majority of these tasks that we have to finish, like the optimism grant and the bridging and all of these things, we can then explore other areas like the on-chain. But I honestly don't have any idea of what Synthetics is trying to do. I would maybe read on that actually, since now that you mentioned, I have zero idea on it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, totally fair. They're of all the the DAOs that I have encountered, I think they're the most sophisticated at this point. In both their management and the tech stack that they're associating with it. Is
Synthetics the DAO, the one where they elect a council and they get rotated from within the community? Is that the one?
Yeah, that is the one. They have 3 or 4, maybe even 5 councils. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Someone mentioned this to me the other day, and I was like, whoa, that is a very, very interesting way of management, actually, governing. And I think it is very, very effective, because then you have 4 or 5 members who are representing are speaking for the community, but they're not fixed in that position forever. They get rotated, so everybody kind of gets a chance. I think it's a very, very interesting model for sure.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited to see more innovation there, to see different ways of approaching the governance token as well, right? Like dual class structures or time bound structures, things that are common in TradFi, but still, still really don't exist in DeFi.
Yeah, I guess we will wait, watch, and allow them to commit the mistakes, and then we will learn from them and deploy an improved version probably in the future. So yeah, I think we'll just do the wait and watch sort of game for now and kind of learn from them, because they're definitely carving out a new path in terms of decentralized governance for sure. And I'm very interested and curious on how it develops, evolves, and all the very many details that they've added to it for sure.
Yeah, me too. A wise man once said to me, "You want to be first-ish with the most-ish."
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Let somebody else make all the mistakes.
I know. I mean, because I think they have a really, really big. I don't know how big their team is. I think they should have a fairly large team, right? Synthetics.
Yeah, they've got to be at least 30 to 50 with between all the councils at this point, I think.
Okay, we are nowhere close to that. Kromatika is nowhere close. We are probably core contributors, probably 10. That's it. Yeah. And so within this small bunch of core contributors in the various guilds, getting, like I mentioned, all the tasks done is we have our hands full. And I guess that's why we are inviting the community to get involved and to contribute more so we can expand probably faster.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And so all they need to go is, all people need to do is go on to DWork, find a task and execute that task, right?
That's true. And if they want to be like a frequent, regular contributor, and the rest of the contributors in the community sees that they actually have something different to the existing talents and skills, for sure, they can be a regular contributor, and it's something that they can get involved with, like on a regular basis, for sure.
Yeah, very cool. Well, good. Now let's move on to tokenomics, and also we should talk about the Optimism grant as well. But so I know the Chrome token is non-mintable and has been fully deployed, so there are no emissions at this point, just unlocks from vesting founder tokens.
That's true. Yeah, Annie, I think Annie wants to answer.
Yeah, indeed. So, like you said, it's just the unlocks have been going on. But in total, we've got still around 9.5 million tokens locked up on Unicredit, and 6.5 of them belongs to the DAO treasury. So out of the complete 100 million tokens that were released initially, we still have about 82 million in circulation. But like we said already, I think we don't have any VCs, or we don't have any pre-sales or pressure coming from outside. The only obligation that we still have going is the Optimism grant, which we won, for which we have a program to complete.
Yeah, very cool. So we've got a kind of deflationary token.
Right.
Yeah, so with every trading of Chrome that happens on Uniswap, because of the way it is implemented, we've burnt the liquidity proof. It's sent automatically to a dead wallet. It's not manually sent. It's automatically sent. It cannot be changed forever. And so it prevents the risk of rug pulls. I don't know. I forget. Some project had this rug pull issue recently in the last 2 months where they were manually sending it to a dead wallet, and I guess they decided not to do it, and they rugged the liquidity. So that will never happen in Kromatika because it's burned forever and you cannot change it. It's set in the contract. So with every buying and selling of Chrome, there is a certain number of Chrome, depending on the trade. There's not fixed number that is burnt. And if you go to the Kromatika dApp on your PC on the browser version, and you scroll down on Kromatika's dApp, at the bottom there's this tiny fire symbol, and it shows you the number of Chrome tokens that have been burned. I think it's more than 2 million now. At least 2% of the total supply is burnt already. And if you click on that link, it will take you to that address on Uniswap, and it shows you exactly what's going on. So it is a deflationary token, and yeah, it can never be minted. It's fully minted. So we have a deflationary token with limited supply.
Yeah, very cool. So, and then the usages, of course, are governance, but then also fees for fee earning limit orders. Where does the Chrome earned from those fees go?
So on limit orders, there is a service fee that's deployed to pay Chainlink keepers. This is the fees that's used to deploy the Chainlink keeper bots. And there is a tiny percent, very, very small amount that Kromatika actually earns. It's, I would say, almost negligible since we're still in the adoption phase of the market, and it does go into the treasury, if I'm not mistaken. I think Annie can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Yeah, so that is the only place that Kromatika kind of makes some amount of revenue from the limit orders. Yes, it does a bit from the perpetual side as well, but the idea is as adoption increases, and we've been in talks with some of the bigger protocols, and they've been interested in using our Kromatika's limit orders, because just like the swap box, we will be releasing a limit order box, which any protocol can plug and play, and voila, on your protocol, you don't ever have to visit Kromatika. From whatever protocol, XYZ protocol, you can use or leverage the power of Kromatika's Philo within your website. And so later on, as adoption grows, and our target is about 100,000 users, if I'm not mistaken. Once we reach the target, the community can definitely bring about a proposal to, increase fees or revenue sharing, and at that point, it makes a lot of sense to add an extra fee for the service we provide, because it is a service that no other DEX is providing, and adding a fee, and probably we can explore revenue share models and all of these other things. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Right. It seems like particularly rolling out Philo for other projects should be hugely lucrative, because yeah, you could be generating a meaningful percentage in fees from those.
Yeah, for sure. So that is something why we are yet to build that product, Philo box, but it is in the books to be done. It will be done for sure, just like we deployed the Philo, the swap box. But I think our first priority for now would be the Optimism grant. We have sort of a deadline to deliver the product, so that would be first priority, high priority, I would say, and the limit order box is coming for sure.
Yeah, very cool, and that segues us perfectly into roadmap. So tell us, can you tell us anything else about the Optimism liquidity mining program, and what else is on the roadmap for you guys?
Yeah, sure. So we have in our proposal on the Optimism, we have a few areas that we are targeting. I'm just pulling up the Optimism grant right now. So hold on a second. The first thing would be 30%. So we received 300,000 OP tokens from the Optimism Foundation as part of the Optimism grant. Out of that, 30% will be utilized to create a Chrome OP trading pool. This should be the first product that will be shipped ASAP within the next 60 to 90 days at least. And so we will be putting 30% of the Optimism tokens, which would come up to 90,000 OP tokens. and it will be matched with 300,000 Chrome tokens. So it's basically increasing the liquidity in Optimism network for the Chrome OP pair. Then we have dedicated 10% for liquidity mining. The liquidity mining initially the idea was to create this OP Chrome trading pair and to use Uniswap V3 staker contract. But then we saw Uniswap use liquidity mining services like DeFi Edge, 0x Plasma, Gamma strategies, and we were like, why? I mean, it makes more sense to go with protocols that specialize in liquidity mining rather than we having to do it. So we are not liquidity mining experts. We'd rather give it to the so-called experts who already have a proven track record and they have a huge community. So it's also good for the marketing side for Chrome. It's also good for the Optimism users and like, for example, DeFi Edge and 0x Plasma, their users to have visibility, vice versa. So Chromaticans get visibility to their products and they get visibility to Kromatika and our products. So liquidity mining is something that we have dedicated 10% to that will be delivered this year as well. So that is really exciting for us because it should be with like pretty cool liquidity mining programs. We've interviewed a bunch of them, DeFi Edge, Gamma Strategies, 0x Plasma, and they all bring something very unique to the table. So 10% goes to that. Then 20% of the OP grant goes to an OP airdrop for limit order users on the Optimism network. So if you were a limit order user, a Philo user, Kromatika's limit orders on Optimism network, and it's on a first come first serve basis. Until the 20% runs out, you will get an OP airdrop for using limit orders. So that is something we've dedicated some of the OP grant to. Then there's a gas refund program. So if you swap, you get refunded in OP, if I'm not mistaken. We've dedicated 20%. So basically, your swap is going to be free on Optimism. 20% is there, and the other 10% is for marketing. Optimism Foundation, or the community rather, were not too fond of using OP for marketing because they have a no sale policy. But I think we have reduced the allocation for marketing, and 10% goes to marketing. So the main takeaways would be liquidity mining. Oh, I forgot, referral program. So Kromatika is going to be releasing a referral program on Optimism. It would be probably one of the first in terms of DEXs in the space, just like you would have on Binance. So we will be releasing a referral program. So you refer a friend and you get so-and-so benefits, etc. on your trades or whatever not. So we've dedicated 10% or allocated 10% of the funds to building this program on Optimism. So referral program, liquidity mining, and the airdrop for limit order users are probably the most exciting things that users can look forward to on the Optimism network.
Yeah, very cool. That's a lot of exciting stuff, and I love that you're going to have the opportunity to try out and work with the various liquidity mining platforms, to explore then, I assume, potential partnership down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Like when we spoke to DeFi Edge and took a look at their protocol and their platform, or even 0x Plasma. 0x Plasma has built a really, really cutting edge technology in terms of liquidity mining. And if you're not aware of 0x Plasma, these are the guys who actually wrote the proposal to Uniswap governance to bring the V3 tech onto BNB chain. So they spearheaded that movement. And then if you were aware, there was this whole big crypto war between the two bridging giants and their VCs the layer 0 and wormhole, if I'm not mistaken. So it was 0x Plasma that spearheaded the movement to get Uniswap V3 tech on BNB chain. So they have a liquidity mining or farming program called 0x Quadrat, and it's, I think, one of a kind, and we are excited to potentially be working with them.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Very cool.
Yes, sir.
So let's see, is there anything we have missed?
I am not sure. So just to recap, I would say I think we forgot to mention that Arbitrum had also awarded Kromatika with about 75,000 ARB tokens because of the usage on their ecosystem and contribution to the ecosystem. So we will be discussing with the community on how we can utilize the 75,000, part of it for governance and, you know, various aspects, marketing, all of those things. We are looking to develop and push forward a swap box solution, and the offer still stands to DeFi Raiders. If you all want to add a super good aggregator to your website for your users, it's free of charge. It's super easy. Set your stopwatch less than 1 minute, and you can offer your users super good swap rates. So the offer still stands. Anytime, hit us up. We are looking to expand the swap box solution. Then the Optimism grant is going to be delivered this year, at least within the next 60 days. The first parts of it should be delivered. We are integrating LeFi bridge within the Kromatika dApp. We also have a proposal to add an on-off ramp. So that is something that we will be working on too. That's about it. In terms of gasless swap, Arbitrum has just been released. What do you think? Should we do a free swap, a free gasless swap on Arbitrum campaign, or that's something we're thinking about? What do you think?
That's a good question. Probably. It seems like there's a lot of people there, certainly. Probably, and it seems like for you guys, spending a little bit to acquire users makes sense because your users are going to be really sticky and spend money over time.
Yeah, that's what so I think that would be a cool thing to do, like a free gasless swap campaign would be a great thing. We can definitely bring it up internally and ship it out. So it's on Arbitrum, it's on Polygon. We will be adding it on Optimism and finally on mainnet as well. We are looking to audit the code because it's a new code that we wrote. The Kromatika Engineering Guild are super good testers. They test and test and test and test. So they've gone through multiple tests of the code internally, but we will definitely be getting an external third-party audit as well on the code. That is something coming up very soon too. So we have a bunch of things all lined up for 2023 already. That's about it. Annie, did I miss something?
No, I think you got it all covered.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. Going to be a very exciting rest of the year and into next year for Kromatika. Excited to see it all progress. So do we have any questions from the audience? Please raise your hand or tweet at us.
Yeah, I saw one comment related to the marketing, like how will we spread the word. Like Rich already mentioned, we will be using the Optimism grant for a large part to increase the marketing, and also the tokens that we got from Arbitrum. We are discussing with the community already how we will use them. So in terms of marketing, the plan is on a roll, I would say. We're talking to multiple different goals as well. So I think there's a lot in the pipeline. We just need to roll it out and ensure that we get the right connections and the right people involved to help us spread the word. And of course, every user that experiences the Kromatika dApp, I think is automatically someone who can spread the word because they will just see all the benefits and receive all the extras like the fees on their limit orders, and they'll just be wowed. So they'll spread the word for us.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great product. I enjoy it, and yeah, we're thrilled to see you guys adding so much more to it.
Yes, for sure. We are definitely looking to see a really good boost in marketing through the use of the various grants. Like Annie mentioned, we are not funded by VCs, so we are dependent on these grants to kind of, spend the money on marketing side as well. So the community can look forward to more marketing coming up soon in 2023.
Yeah, awesome. Well, great. Any more questions here for anyone or closing remarks? Going twice. Well, sold. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we did a good job. We've answered everybody's questions, I guess. Nobody has a question. Well, so
I take that as us being prepared, right? We did such a good job. Nobody had any questions.
I know, right? Good job. Good job on you. Thank you for being an excellent host.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you all for being such great guests. So yeah, and thanks everyone for attending another DeFi Raiders AMA. This has been Dejanic with the Kromatika team. And
thank you so
yeah,
much.
well, please keep your eyes out for the recording on YouTube in a couple of days.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining. Really a pleasure.